Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hello.
James Farley.
Yeah, hi.
And Matthew Murray.
Hello.
You alright, mate? How's it going?
Right.
That was a test then. I just wanted to see who genuinely saw me as a mate. And Matt stepped up and answered.
I assumed you're either talking to Matt because you just mentioned him, or James just because I was a bit concerned, to be honest. He didn't sound very good.
You were very low on that list.
Okay.
What a week it's been for the Computer Game Show. There's been more feedback over the last show than we have ever had on any show ever, I think, including any podcast that I've ever done. And it all comes from a betrayal and me just laying out some ground rules. What?
It's not betrayal. Steady on. You know,
that's not... It was upsetting enough last week. Can we not do this?
I'm not going to go into it again, although we've got to address the text messages.
You'll be getting texts.
You'll be
Let's
charged.
not go into the text messages.
Oh, what, £1 a message and your usual standard charge. No, the tweets that we've got. Matt, do you want to go through the follow-up stuff this week?
I mean, not really, but we've started a segment.
Let's go, because it backs me up. Let's read these out.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously there was really only one subject this week that people really wanted to get in contact with us about, and that might have been the fact that James and I talked a little bit about his PS4 on our other podcasts.
How see-through are we going to be? How transparent are we going to be on this podcast? Are we going to be completely open and honest about everything that happens?
I think we have to be now, don't we?
Well, because Matt texts me and, texts the whole group like 2 days afterwards going, I feel really bad about that, actually, what we did. on In the Face, we did really bad. I feel bad about that.
So I just don't see what the big deal is. But
I like the fact that he's turned on James now. Like he didn't stand firm with his partner in crime. He was, sorry, man, it won't happen again. Don't worry about that.
I just wanted to let you know how I felt.
I thought it was very sweet, Matt. James, you're a knob. You might want to take note of Matt there. That's the right way to go about things. Right, okay, so all bets are off now, aren't we? If we're talking about private conversations like that.
I'm trying to think what else I've got on you, but...
There's plenty, and it'll come at some point.
Too much, baby.
Right, okay, come on, let's go through these tweets.
So, yeah, I mean, Sonic Mole said he went for the latest issue, and it started with the podcast equivalent of a halftime team talk.
Issue?
I don't know.
We cane and rinse. What is that? No, it's latest podcast, all right? Sonic Mole, get it right. Latest issue.
Well, hang on, no, Sonic Mole didn't say that.
No,
he didn't say issue,
Matt
that was just me.
Matt, what is the matter with you?
What?
Are you trying to get a job at...
I just said the Sonic Mole. What do you think I said?
You said that went for the latest issue.
Went for the latest podcast. Oh, forget it.
He totally fucked it. He's bought into the Cane and Rinse brand. You totally said issue.
You did.
You fucking prick.
Cane and Rinse, if you want a subpar podcaster, you know where to find me. Adam Black, I loved his tweet. Great start to the show. Dave's dummy's out. James and Matt are getting well fucked out of it. And Sean's cutting his toenails. So, yeah. We're getting well fucked out of it, James.
Do you know when you said that you had to cut your toenails, Sean? I assume you were joking. And then when I turned for you for a little bit of support, you went, sorry, I haven't been listening. That's just the only voice I do now, is that voice. So
that's your impersonation of everyone.
Voice. Oh, except for James, who's like, I don't like that game, it's rubbish.
Yeah, you see, I prefer that to that your nerd voice is just ridiculous. I don't like
ridiculous. The UI. God. Next.
The Nick Parton was quite scared, actually. He says, it seems that Chet Royals was right. Turner's ego manifests itself in this week's Computer Game Pod with terrifying consequences. So he's scared, if anything.
When did Chet say that about me? When did he comment on my ego?
He's probably said it loads of times. In private and yeah. Michael H. Doody on Twitter, he actually found it quite positive. He said, I love how seriously David Turner's takes a Computer Game Pod.
Thank you.
Podcasters don't often think of their fans so much.
Well, this is it, right? Because my full focus is on making this a interesting and entertaining show for the listeners. That's the main focus. Your main focus is trying to get a few people over to your shitty tech podcast. You know what I mean? Which, by the way, might as well just be an Apple podcast, because Jesus Christ, the only time you've ever mentioned Android was when Matt goes, "Oh yes, I've used Android once, and it wasn't very good on the £12 phone that I bought to use it
No,
on."
this is completely outrageous because we have talked about other things.
Like
we
what?
we talked about the first computer we ever had. That we did a whole show on that. It was great.
Cutting
Was
edge,
it a Mac?
right?
Yeah.
It was an iPhone.
Okay, let's go, because we're getting to the good stuff now.
We got a lot of feedback. Obviously, the biggest amount of feedback we got from was a guy called Transters on Twitter. He's got a small diatribe here. I'll read out in order. Everyone sit down. And maybe ring a loved one next of kin, because it could be of some time. The heated argument that was in the intro of the latest episode was certainly interesting, but I have a fair few things to say. Initially,
let's hear 'em.
I thought David sounded a little bit arrogant at first, but he
At
does make a fair
first?
point. Yeah, at first. I mean, how many episodes did you listen to?
The thing is, I've earned the right to be arrogant. I'm at that point in my career now where I can be arrogant because I do know what's best.
Dave,
So-
you've always been like this. When you first started, you were like this. I remember.
Because I was very good back
Yeah,
then as well.
Joypod episode 1. Sorry, the podcast with no name episode 1.
I was very good back then.
And that's why I messaged you saying you can improve this because this needs a lot of work.
Yes,
Anyway.
and your improvement was, how about get a camera phone?
Oh no! Basically, I'm thinking about it a lot. I basically invented Instagram in those PMs, and I said to you, I said, wouldn't it be great, right, if like people could take pictures of like if they're in like launches of games or they got a new game, and we can set it can be on a feed on the website. That I've invented Instagram.
That's basically Instagram, isn't it, Matt? That what you've
A feed of
described there
pictures,
is
yeah, basically
Instagram.
it is, yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
When
Anyway,
someone comes up to me in the street and goes,
carries on.
"Can you describe Instagram for me?" I'm like, "Oh, when there's a launch of a game, you can take pictures and put them on a website." "Oh, is that Instagram?" "No." But Matt thinks it is.
I
Continue.
think I've won that argument. Dave. Anyway, he carries on. Referring to Dave, without him as a host, I wouldn't really care for James and Matt. No disrespect for those guys. No disrespect.
no disrespect. That's
no
a
disrespect.
ridiculous thing to
But
None
say.
he
taken.
wouldn't
None
care
taken.
if you lived or died.
He's being honest,
None taken.
and this is what I was saying last week. Carry
No
on.
disrespect. Basically said.
Basically.
No,
Come on,
no.
you've lost your place, haven't you?
Well, no,
And now you
his
just go, well,
messages
basically.
don't make sense. I mean, like a lot of stuff he's written here, but would not be successful if David was not on it. Likewise with Joypod.
True.
Didn't really
Keep going.
see the problem of James and Matt talking about PS4 on the podcast, but it was cheeky to do an exclusive.
Fucking cheeky.
The
Yep.
exclusivity was definitely overdoing it. It feels like they have their own agenda to eventually drift off and do their own thing.
Oh, I would love that to happen.
Seen through us. Seen through us.
I would love
Are we
that
that
to happen.
transparent, Trances? I can't believe our plans were foiled so early on.
They're just using us, Dave. It's
Matt,
disgusting.
I would love it to happen, because it would be like, like when your kid runs off, I don't want to live here anymore. I'm going to live with, such and such, and then they go, and then within an hour they come back because they're hungry.
Yeah,
No one actually cares about them.
I've run out of money.
Yeah.
But never heard David so angry, not even during his Joypod days.
I have been genuinely angry. Yeah, the time where Michael just didn't show up for a show where we had a really important guest.
At least he showed up.
I was a little bit more pissed off back then, I would say.
That was more off air, though. I remember.
That was more fair. We didn't put
Yeah.
that stuff on air. Keep going.
Regardless of what happened, I liked the podcast and like all the guys equally. So I'm just back to a previous tweet here. No disrespect, don't really care for James and Matt. Would not be successful. Okay, I'll go back to where he was earlier.
He clearly likes me better, but he's trying to be nice. It just shows he's a good guy. Like he's a top guy or
To
girl.
clarify my previous tweet, when I said I wouldn't really care for James and Matt without David as a host, I was meant to say I wouldn't bother listening to their podcast. I did listen to their podcast. It was all right. Wouldn't otherwise if I didn't listen to Computer Game Show. It gave them exposure. Apologies to Matt if I spoke your name wrong with two T's. It wasn't really the spelling of the name that offended me. Or
It's the fact that he said he didn't
fucking
care who
bollocks
you are.
beforehand. Yeah, I was fine actually. And then I saw two T's. I was like, oh, this prick. Negativity aside, the Computer Game Show is great. Fair
Thank
dues
you.
to James and Matt for doing their own podcast for tech-related stuff.
Yeah, bless him.
We'll endeavour to listen to future episodes of Interface if stuff I like are discussed. Otherwise, TCGP, I don't even know what the fuck that is. Clearly, yeah, is my thing.
Well-
It's all good. And he ends it there. I mean,
He sounds very confused.
maybe there's an anime to
If
watch,
he
I'm
likes,
not sure, but He stopped.
If you like Apple stuff, we've got that covered this week.
Oh yeah,
You've got it covered every week. It's the only thing you cover, James. Like, do you know what I mean?
No, we talked about the Commodore 64 one week.
We did, yeah.
What are you going to talk about? I love the fact as well that they did predictions for the Apple event, and Matt's prediction was, they'll probably have earpods that can connect into the light connection at the bottom of the phone. Oh, really, Matt? Really? No one knew about that, did they, beforehand? It's just by the fact the fucking things were posted on the internet about 3 fucking months ago, you mug. Anyway,
that was the first I heard that. I thought it was a genuine new prediction, but okay.
I was listening to Interface today, and this might get cut, but I don't suppose you've heard it yet, Sean, have you?
I haven't, no.
Right,
or at all, and I wouldn't blame you.
Check
I was
out,
trying to deftly dodge that. No, I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I do apologise.
Check out
do not
don't worry, you're not
apologise,
missing
Sean.
anything. Yeah, you're not missing anything. Try and listen out for Matt's little noise that he makes here. Listen.
Mm-hmm. And this is obviously they're probably trying to encourage the take up of Swift, getting people to do that. Yeah. But it's also...
And because this is the computer game show, it wouldn't be complete if...
Basically, they give away 50,000 iPads to students and 4,500 Macs to teachers.
Stick with me.
And this is obviously they're probably trying to encourage the take
Why are
up
we
of
doing this?
Swift, getting people to do that. Yeah.
9:55 on the latest Interface. Get involved.
Yeah, everyone subscribe and download, like and subscribe. That's it for follow-up this week. Hopefully next week a little bit more positive. I'm not sure. It depends if
Can I just say I'm a bit upset that he did this massive diatribe and I don't get mentioned once, which, is probably a good thing.
You do get mentioned, don't you?
No, it doesn't. I don't exist.
It's fine for Sean to go off and do his thing. He's got his own thing going, but for us,
I say, Sean hasn't gone off and done his thing. This is the thing that he's gone off to do. You know what I mean? That's the difference, right? He was Dark Zero, Midnight Resistance, and then he fucked those boys off because he saw where the real talent was and come over here. You know, and when I say real talent, I do mean me.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't clear.
And so you can't really compare it, James.
Yeah, as Matt said, we started Interface before this.
Yeah,
this was.
But come on, you having a laugh, and Are you really comparing? Are you really saying that that's the main show? Who are you kidding?
No, obviously not. But it's like
James, how I'm offended, James. Now, if anything.
Right, okay, let's move on. That's all behind us now. We're all ready to talk about the Apple conference that took place. No, there's been a hell of a lot of news this week. We've got a lot to cover. And, it's been a really busy week in the news when Peter Molyneux releases a game without lying about it. And that barely makes the headlines. Do you know what I mean? Now,
is that game actually out in the UK yet? Because it looked class from what I saw.
Only in the Philippines, but it did look very fucking good, didn't it?
It looked great, yeah. It's
really nice,
still only in the Philippines.
I guess. I mean, it was in the Philippines at the end of last month. So when it was reported on, it had already been out for a few days. It wasn't like it had just hit the stores over there. But yeah, so Peter Molyneux was basically, 22 Cans have put out a new mobile game, and it's kind of like it's not really a survival game. It's more of a go and explore and bring materials back and build your base sort of game. But it looks beautiful and has an interesting concept. So just very, very strange that it's out there and he hasn't really bullshitted his way to release. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Just not the Molyneux way, is it? Maybe he's changed his tune. So obviously the biggest news for us this week is the PlayStation meeting where they announced the Pro and the Slim, the two new consoles Sony are releasing this year. They both out this year. Is that confirmed?
Yeah, both
Yeah.
this year.
The first thing I'll say is, I bailed after about half an hour because it's Sony. If anyone from Sony's listening, let me just give you a little bit of advice. Never, ever, ever again do a talk the day of an Apple talk, because it just exposes how bad you are at this shit compared to them. And do you know what? Both companies, Apple and Sony, were showing off mediocre devices, right? Nothing that was surprising or entirely like not groundbreaking. There was nothing special going on in either of them. But at least Apple sort of they knew their audience. They knew they wanted to point out things that they wanted to show off about these devices. They wanted to show them off, and they wanted to show why you should be interested in them. Sony come along, and I just could not believe the shit that was going on there. Probably the best bit, right, for me, was when they were showing the Pro and how good HDR is, and they had a full screen view of a game.
Oh, mate, don't get me started on this.
Halfway through, went, "This game looks great, doesn't it? But what does it look like with HDR turned on? Looks even better, doesn't it? Looks exactly the same. We're all watching it through our shitty little monitors on our laptops and phones and shit. We ain't going to see the difference. Why are you showing this? Surely, did that not come up? Did they not talk about that shit beforehand?
It's very odd. Well, loads of websites are doing it as well. Like, oh yeah, so this new PS4, it's going to have HDR and blah, blah, blah. Here's some comparison screenshots. I'm like, it's useless.
Oh yeah, the screenshot comparisons, yeah, where they were just slightly different colour.
Yeah.
No, that's not what HDR is. That's not what 4K is. It was insane. I will say this though, before we go into what we think of the consoles and the rest of the presentation, I was pissed off that I couldn't see what 4K gaming was like on these things. Of course I couldn't because I'm looking on my MacBook. However, I remembered that I had a 4K telly. And it's got YouTube built in, and you can stream UHD videos from YouTube. So I searched on the YouTube app, like for 4K gaming. So that Mass Effect Andromeda gameplay demo in 4K, and it showed it off in 4K on my telly. And I was absolutely blown away, like properly blown away. I just thought, holy fuck, I didn't think games could look this good. Like a serious step up from 1080p, serious step up. And I wasn't expecting that because, I haven't seen too much 4K content. The stuff that I have seen has ranged from a little bit better to really good, but I've never really sat down and got into the 4K side of things. But when I saw that Mass Effect trailer, I was like, okay, right, I see what you're going for now. I see why this is important and why we should care. So yeah, but then that's the thing. How do you present that to the audience? You just fucking can't, can you? It's impossible.
It's the thing, because I was going a bit nuts about this HDR stuff because I still felt I didn't really explain what it is. Like, it's like, oh yeah, it's better contrast. It's like, oh, really? Good, that's exciting.
Is there a link between, because you're into photography, is there a link between HDR and photography?
There isn't, which makes it even more confusing.
Yeah. So what does HDR stand for?
High dynamic range.
Right, and so the idea is that you go from a certain amount of colours that you can produce to a larger amount, is it? Or
yeah, I mean the photography one is where, like, so when you're taking pictures, you can set the exposure, yeah, which is how long the aperture stays open, which affects how much light gets onto the sensor.
Yeah.
And what you do with HDR photography is you'll take, so rather than just shooting at the normal, like the correct exposure, you'll do one shot that's a bit too dark and one that's a bit too light, and then basically you take the darkest bits of the light photograph and the lightest bits of the dark photograph and then merge them, and then if you sort of get this sort of hyper real, sort of overly detailed, sort of weird, unnatural looking picture, which I don't really like the look of it. But
didn't the iPhone, one of the old iPhones, try to do that?
Yeah. I
think the iPhone 5.
I think some recent Android ones do it as well. But
right.
So yeah, there's more to it than that. But that's basically how it works. So yeah, so when they first started saying, "Oh yeah, HDR for TVs," I was a bit like, "But surely that's just because, like, obviously if you're showing stuff that's rendered in a game, you're not having to deal with like the actual rules of real life light and physics and and that. You're just rendering a thing. So what is it exactly?" And just couldn't get like a decent explanation out of anyone. And I've since, I know Matt's going to mention this right up on Eurogamer, where they're basically saying HDR is like the main point and it's incredible. I was in a shop the other day and I saw it, and it might just be the way they've set it up, because I know people in shops are notorious for that. I wasn't that bothered. Everything just looked like really sort of unnaturally, just like all the colours were far too saturated. And it just looked weird and a bit rubbish, I thought.
Strange. But, Matt, have you seen anything in HDR yet?
No. I mean, I've seen stuff in the shop demos, but I don't really listen to that because, it's typically just set up really poorly. And
yeah.
I mean, I've seen stuff that looks impressive in shops, but that could well just be 4K and not specifically HDR. So No, I can't comment. But yeah, I mean, I've known about HDR. I know it's been, from even like early last year, people said HDR is going to be the next big thing, as big as the jump from SD to HD. People saying, if you want to get into TV, you need to wait for HDR. It's going to be the massive thing. So I knew it was big. I knew it was coming. And yeah, and as Sean has mentioned, a Digital Foundry did they've obviously done loads of stuff about this, but I watched this or listened to this 20-minute video they did the other day where they talk about it and saying that HDR is the thing that really elevates this, to something more than just a high resolution. The 4K is great and all, and that's really super impressive, but combine that with HDR and it looks incredible apparently. Obviously, HDR is also coming to all PS4. It's coming
which
to
is
PS4
nice.
as part of the next firmware update, so it's not just a PS4 Pro thing. HDR will be for both PS4 and PS4 Pro. Obviously, if you have a TV that does HDR, but yeah, I'm super excited to see that. But the fact that 99% of people couldn't even see any of this stuff is crazy. And even on this Digital Foundry thing, this video I watched, even they were saying that they couldn't believe how badly Sony was communicating this sort of stuff. One of the guys in this video, they were actually there live in America watching an actual presentation in a theatre, and the other guy was at home watching it, and basically the guy there just could not believe how poorly it's communicated, and that everyone else at home was just watching a subpar, really compressed feed through YouTube or wherever they're seeing it, whereas the guys in real life are seeing I can't believe how incredible these visuals are. But yeah, it's funny, but I mean, I don't know what else they can do. Obviously, no one's really got a tech. They have to show it. They're gonna show video, but yeah, communication is going to be massive for this, and so far they haven't really done well.
How can they communicate it? Because unless you're watching it on like a HDR 4K TV, surely you're gonna have no idea.
Exactly. Yeah. They have to.
It's a bit like VR. But it's like you can't really communicate VR either, can you? Unless you actually experience it.
No, but VR's arguably, I think, actually an easier thing to communicate, because you can sort of say, it's like, being in a virtual world, and people have a better idea of that than just, it's HDR, isn't it? It looks much better, and people are like, well, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, because at least with VR, it's like you understand right off the bat that it involves putting a thing on your fucking head, so straight away you're like, well, obviously this is going to be weird and unlike anything I've done before. Whereas, when it's with HDR TVs, it's like part of you just like, but I've already got a TV that I think looks nice. So what is this?
It's really weird though, because it's like after this event, you just hear. I've heard like things on completely opposite sides of the spectrum. Like you got Matt saying about this is amazing and everything, and then other people just saying.
I've been told, I've read, for a long time, it's going to be amazing.
But then there's also like people just saying, this is a massive white elephant. This doesn't mean anything. It's But
I mean, TVs are weird, aren't they? They're obviously there's pressure on TV manufacturers to keep coming up with shit, to keep making us buy new ones.
There's several different price points this is the way I see it, right, with TVs. There's several different price points that they've got to try and hit. They've got to get the sort of budget TVs, like the proper dirt cheap ones. You've got to hit your sort of medium budget, your £500 sort of things. But you've got to constantly push these, $2-3 grand sets, right? And the only way they're going to do that is by keep coming up with the next big thing, right? So, part of me thinks I should have held off from my TV, because my TV's 4K, but it's not HDR, right? Mm-hmm. And part of me thinks, I should have waited for HDR. But at the time when I was looking at these TVs, the HDR sets were like £400-500 more than what I was paying for my one. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of think, but by the time that HDR sets come down to my price range, there's almost definitely going to be something I need in the 1,000 to 1,500 price range of TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's like you've got to
disappoint you, but it has already happened with 4K. Like there's 4K, and then there's actually already what they're calling Ultra HD Premium, which is what people are saying is like this generation's version of HD ready. So there's always going to be something in the next 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. And then when that one comes down, there'll be another high def or some new thing within the set that everyone needs.
There's already talk of the next Olympics being in 8K.
Yeah, there's 8K already. And
so I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy, sort of staying in that mid-budget range and getting one every sort of 7 to 10 years, rather than paying for. Because the biggest problem is the only time that I've got a ridiculously expensive TV was when I got my HD ready TV. You know what I mean, for my Xbox 360. So I bought a HD TV before the 360 come out, and I spent about £1,000 on it or whatever. And I was like, fucking yeah, this is the dog's bollocks. But within a year, I realised that actually HD Ready is shit compared to full HD. And so the price drop, basically what I'm saying is that my TV now will devalue at a slower rate than that fucking thing did, you know? And that's where I'm looking at it. That's where I'm looking at my purchase. And to be honest with you, I fucking love my TV. I'm well happy with it at the moment.
Well, that's the thing. It just feels like with TVs, it's like if you're looking at buying a new TV, you basically start at the top and then you just say to yourself, like, right, what don't I need? So you go like, right, well, I don't need it to be curved. I don't need it to be 3D. I've already got a Chromecast, so I don't need any smart features. And it's like, and you just sort of chipping away at it until you get something you're happy with. And then it's like, oh, right, that's only 350 quid. Brilliant. You know, it's like you've got to look at what's available and be like, out of these features that they're currently trying to sell me, what do I think is actually going to stick and become important? You know?
I will say this, though, and I do, you know, this is purely anecdotal, but I do find it funny how little, you know, we have a hobby where a big part of what you're seeing and experiencing is through your TV. And I see a lot of people on Twitter that are like kicking off about frame rates and resolution and this, that, and the other, but wouldn't like have openly said, "Well, I'm not getting a 4K TV. I'm happy with this little, 32-inch thing that I'm using." And you just kind of think, well, actually, maybe if it's your favourite hobby and the TV's obviously a big part of it, then maybe invest a little bit,
because I get that, especially like with sound equipment as well. Just no one bothers. Everyone's like, well, I've got speakers in the TV, and I'm like, fucking how can you do that? Which obviously that's partly
admit,
me
I'm one of
being...
those people.
Well, exactly. So you're just as bad, Dave. That's the thing.
I am. I'm a scumbag. I'm an actual scumbag.
I mean, obviously, there's a degree of snobbery in that, and that's unfair, and people should just use whatever they like. But yeah, it's like you say, when you get people whining about frame rates and resolutions and stuff, maybe they should pay more attention to
get better TV, better man.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. With, a lot of people have mentioned that this sort of model of, instead of going from generation to generation, doing these minor upgrades or whatever, a lot of people have sort of likened it to mobile phones. I think the only problem there is that mobile phones don't tend to dwell on the past too much, whereas because we're not used to this, sort of mid-generation upgrades, I think Sony and Microsoft are kind of forced to dwell on the past a little bit and sort of say, oh, but your old ones will still work. Like, I can't imagine Tim Cook coming out.
That's just because on smartphones and stuff, that's always just been a given, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. It's the perception thing. So it's a harder sell now, isn't it? Because, like, as I say, Apple don't have to come out and go, oh, don't worry, the apps still work on the old ones. You know, they don't need to do that. Whereas Sony and Microsoft kind of do at the moment. And in doing so, they kind of devalue the new product they're bringing out. Like when they announced the Slim, it was kind of like, yeah, and this is a brilliant new console. It plays all your games, but this one's slightly better. And I don't know. I come away from that thinking I don't really need a Pro, which is ridiculous. As a 4K TV owner, I should be all about that. But I was kind of like, actually, I don't see it giving me enough to jump on board at this time. Now, don't get me wrong. If my PS4 breaks, I'm not getting a PS4 Slim. I'd be getting a PS4 Pro. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, you haven't really sold this next jump to me, because I think console makers are too tied into the past, you know what I mean? And they're older equipment, which is kind of just makes everything just that little bit more difficult, doesn't it? What did you guys think? Like, what were you interested? Matt, were you interested in getting a Pro?
I wasn't after watching the presentation, only because I clearly couldn't see any of the benefits visually. But I've obviously since read a bit more, and there does seem to be some improvements to VR. So for that reason, I'm quite interested in getting one. I guess it sort of depends on how much I could maybe get for my current PS4, and I'll see what I'm doing around November time. But I was always obviously going to get a new TV probably in 2017 anyway, so I don't think it's too much of an issue if I get this now and then it'd be ready for a new TV. And if it does give me improvements to PSVR, then I'll be happy enough with that, frankly.
How about you, Sean?
I think, I don't know. No, I'm not getting one because, well, for a start, I don't have a 4K TV. And I mean, I know what you're saying. Like, if you were getting a new one now because your PS4 broke or whatever, then of course you would get the Pro because why not? I do think it's a bit ugly.
Oh, it's fucking disgraceful.
It's a bit of a
thing,
fucking brick, isn't it?
The awful design. Like, honestly, if I say again, I don't know why they felt the need to try and make it look like a PS4.
Yeah.
I don't think I will ever understand that. Maybe because they want, the PS4's been successful and they want to sort of point out to customers that, look, this is still a PS4, this is that big successful thing that you've heard all about. But at the same time, it's a PS4 with just a slab of plastic on top.
Yeah.
It's and have you seen the size comparison stuff?
It's massive.
Yeah, it's actually bigger than the PS4, isn't it?
Yeah, it's much bigger than the
bigger
PS4.
than the original, I mean.
Did you see the bit? I think it was towards the end, Dave, so you'll have missed it, where they revealed the hardware itself on the stage and there's just absolute silence.
That bit was really embarrassing, yeah.
It was.
That bit was the best bit of the whole thing. It was brilliant.
It was,
that was like classic E3 car crash.
When they did that whole thing where they like kind of slowly revealed it and it's just silence.
It was almost like you could hear like the motor on the thing revealing, like.
Oh yeah, I heard that because the little drop, the box around it dropped or something.
Yeah.
And you just see it go.
It was so like incredibly amateurish.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
Wasn't it?
I loved it.
I do have a lot of time for Mark Cerny because I think he seems like a nice man and he's made some good games. And he just seems. It's like when you see like Carmack talking. I don't even understand a lot of it, but I can tell he gives a shit and knows what he's doing. I also really like the way he says PS4 Pro because he kept going PS4 Pro.
His voice in general is just so soothing. I was practically falling asleep just listening to him.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Like, I mean, he seems like a nice guy, whatever, but you don't stick him on stage to present your new console because people will be asleep within 5 minutes. I said the man's a walking ASMR machine, you know what I mean? It's fucking ridiculous. Although the revealing of the PS4 and what Pro and what it looks like couldn't have been as embarrassing as when they switched the control room mic on instead of the guy on stage.
That was good, wasn't it? And the guy
goes,
his mic's not on. His mic's not on.
His mic's not on. Oh God, his mic's not on. Hey, his mic's not on. I was fucking belly. I think I tweeted, this is James's best bit. Like, this is the bit that James will remember the most.
It was seriously going to like Konami territory. It was great. I loved it.
We haven't actually given much information about the console itself.
Let's go for it.
Well, it's roughly twice as powerful as the PS4.
Which is less than what we expected, right? Because there was these rumours going around that it was 5 times more powerful, wasn't it? This was a while ago. I'm talking like towards the start of the year when we first heard about it, that it was going to be this all singing, all dancing, complete, overhaul of the architecture, but that it was going to be so much more powerful than this.
Yeah, I think because a lot of the discussion centred also around Scorpio and that being like 8 times as powerful as Xbox One, and this was just like, the rumour was originally like 3 or 4 times as powerful as PS4, but I mean, it's not as powerful as people as I suspected, but I suspect people just were saying all sorts of stuff to be perfectly honest with you, but it does upscale existing PS4 games to 4K, so that's not native 4K, but it does upscale them. It comes with a new DualShock controller. It's out November 10th. It's only £349, which I actually thought was decent.
Yeah, it's less than I assumed it was going to be.
I was thinking £400 really, but
so have they confirmed have they confirmed that anything runs at native 4K? Because I'd heard things saying that actually nothing is quite native. Is that right? I'm not sure which is. They've done things to the Last of Us Remaster Collection, which it basically runs at a sort of native 4K. Right.
So yeah, I think it feels a bit grey and a bit weird at the moment. I'm not
just
sure.
strange. I mean, obviously most people are never going to tell the difference. It just seems like an odd thing. Feels like they've gone off a bit half-cocked with it. Do you know what I mean?
It's certainly strange about native 4K and upscaled 4K and how good they look, and I mean it seems quite confusing even to incredibly tech savvy people. It doesn't feel 100% clear.
They were clearly self-conscious about price, weren't they?
Yeah.
I think that a big part of designing this was let's not ask them to spend a ridiculous amount of money because, well, we've done that before and it didn't work out too well. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that's even more evident when you consider there's not a HD Blu-ray player in there. Because I think that would have been a great
bizarre
little tick box for their console. Hey, and if you're into 4K Blu-rays, then buy one of these, and you've essentially got a 4K Blu-ray player. And then I know the argument is, how many people do you actually know that uses Blu-rays anymore? And I understand that, but I mean, to stick that on the box would be enough. Like, it would be worth doing. I can only assume that it raised the price too much, and they had a target to hit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This console can't cost more than this, and yeah, all it's left with is a little bit disappointing, I think. For me, anyway. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I'm not in a situation in my life where I can go around spending money on new consoles that I've got, unless it plays games that I could never play on the one that I've got, then I kind of want to avoid buying something like that.
You see, it's it's interesting that it might run existing games more smoothly than the old PS4 does, but that's a bit of a worrying precedent to set, isn't it? If you does it just mean that the first half of a console's life cycle, it's just going to be like, well, games don't run very well, but there'll be like a 0.5 version of the console later, so yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, deal with it for now. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how bad these people get with that. The other thing that I'd heard is that online stuff won't have 4K or something. Is that true?
I haven't heard that myself. You're saying what? You can't play online in 4K?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they said. No, or either that, or if you decide to upscale to 60 frames per second, you won't be able to do that online, like for multiplayer games, because obviously there's a clear advantage there for whoever's running at 60 frames per second.
Yeah, perhaps you just have to ensure parity, like everyone's using it at the same frame rate. I mean, they said basically most game. Well, me.
Who's that? Whose phone was that?
That might have been me.
That's a fine. All right.
Trance is giving on my arse now.
At least I show a little bit of respect for my listeners, and that was Chet Roivas, wasn't it?
Just carry on the show.
Right. Okay. Go.
Yeah. So I'm saying basically, it looks like most of the big games that are getting support for 4K and stuff it's a choice between 4K at 30 frames a second or 1080p at 60, which again just feels a bit limp. Like, again, I don't care. I don't think this is ever going to annoy me. It just seems like a strange, like another weird concession to make.
Yeah, and it's more fragmentation as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. There are also other improvements, like remote play goes up to 1080p now. You can share sort of 4K screenshots, 1080p video, 1080p 60 frames YouTube streaming. So there's other more sort of realistic upgrades that more people will take sort of notice of and make use of, I think.
Why couldn't you do that before? What was stopping you doing that on the PS4?
I presume capturing full 1080p footage was just a bit too heavy for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose recording that plus playing the game. Yeah, I guess it was just too much.
Faff.
Who knows?
James, what? I mean, you haven't said much. What do you think about the PS4 Pro? Are you interested as a new PS4 buyer?
Well, the thing is I was actually really pleased when they announced the Slim, and then it's not like ridiculously cheaper than what I paid for the PS4 I've got. So I was quite pleased about that. But I don't really care, to be honest, that much, because like Sean, I don't own a 4K TV. This doesn't mean anything to me really at the moment. I mean, maybe in the future it will, but I don't know.
Not running because there are several different options for games, isn't there? Where they can run 1080p games better. So even if you haven't got a 4K TV, you could take advantage of the extra power to get 60 frames per second out of your games and stuff.
I don't know. I mean, things already look really good. Like I think things look pretty good already. I'm not really that bothered.
They were saying that back in like the SD era.
No, they weren't.
True.
No, that is true. When I saw Euro 96 on the Sega Saturn, I was like, I can't imagine football games ever looking better than this. Yeah, weird one. I think maybe it's too early to call. It's certainly a console that I'm going to keep my eye on and see what the reception's like once it's out. But right now, they've done nothing to convince me that this is worth upgrading to. Like, it's not a must-have. I mean, it's probably the way to go if you're thinking about jumping onto a PS4 for the first time, but for people that already own PS4s, I can't see a major benefit in forking out that amount of money.
The thing is, I think even when this is out, it's going to be a muted response because, barely anyone has all the display to actually get the most out of it. So even when this is out on the 10th of November, I can't see suddenly everyone's like, oh my God, it's incredible. I just can't see that because...
Bang on, Matt. There was the whole thing, though, about how apparently VR will work a lot better with this than with the standard one. Doesn't that tempt you at all?
I mean, he literally just spoke about that, but crack on, Matt. He's literally mentioned that already, James, but let's go. Yeah, go on, repeat yourself, Matt.
I'm interested because it brings improvements to PSVR. I'll tell you one thing about comparing this to like Scorpio. This actually feels much more like just an incremental upgrade, whereas obviously everything we've heard about Scorpio that E3 Microsoft mentioned at E3, and also just the rumours that it's still more powerful than what Neo is. That's what excites me about that more. For some reason, that feels like a much bigger upgrade than this. Now seeing it just feels like quite incremental. Again, I haven't actually seen the visuals this machine can deliver, but do you feel that? Do you feel like this feels very much like a quite small but important incremental upgrade? Whereas
it doesn't even feel like a confident half step, It's like a quarter.
Especially when you compare it against what the Xbox One S has to offer.
Mm.
I mean, Xbox One S does HDR, right? And it does 4K, although it doesn't do 4K natively running games, which is, a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
But it does have a 4K Blu-ray player in it, which, I mean, not many people actually care about, but it's certainly a nice to have. It kind of just thinks it doesn't feel like a massive step up from a Xbox One S, and that's quite worrying, really, because they've released their own slim console. I mean, it's not worrying. It's still, Sony is still making a shed load of money from these things, but
yeah, I mean, maybe this has gone into the phone model so quickly that already we're saying this is very much an S upgrade. I'll probably skip it for the next main one. I don't know, already it might feel like, these are nice features, and if you get this one, awesome, but I would probably wait for 2 years down the line when it's an even better upgrade.
But the thing is what about if, like, next year, like towards the end of next year, they start making noises about there's a new one coming? I think that'll piss people off.
Yeah, it will absolutely piss people off. Because then it's going to feel, even though it might not be a yearly upgrade, I think people are going to start thinking, hold on, is that what's going to happen now? I'm going to buy a brand new console for, £300, and all of a sudden you're talking about the next one.
How old's PS4? Is it 3? It must be 3 years old, right?
3 years, yeah, I think.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if they stick to a 3-year cycle. That's still shorter than most generations, but
a 3-year would make sense.
Yeah.
But what if the Scorpio comes out and it's like massively, massively better?
Well, this is it, isn't it? This is what I was coming to. Microsoft have kind of a shot now, I think. They've got a shot to come out with the Scorpio next year and for it to just blow your balls off.
And they've got a year to find the materials and get it done. And I think actually, given what's happened so far this generation, I think they'll do whatever it takes, frankly, to get whatever they can in this machine to make sure it absolutely crushes Neo in terms of tech specs.
Certainly going to be.
It's going to be super interesting to see see when they eventually announce that and what it's going to do. They've already said, like, there's been like tweets and interviews. They've always said that they're not worried at all about what they're showing with PS4 Pro. It's going to be super interesting to see what happens next E3 and whenever they announce whatever Scorpio is.
Yeah, interesting one. Right, okay, that was not the only gaming news to come out of last week because there was the Apple event, and obviously we won't cover what's going on there because Matt and James have done such a stellar job of doing that on Interface. No, there was some gaming news to come out of that, and when I heard it, I was driving in my car listening to the Apple conference, and or what they call it, keynote, those ones, I don't know, not meeting, and I genuinely got goosebumps. Like, I was genuinely excited when they announced that Mario was finally coming to iPhone. And I was buzzing, and I got home and I was like, Joe, Harry's going to love this. There's a really simple Mario game for iPhone. This is brilliant. And the way they presented it and the way they sort of built up to it and hinted, and then Shigeru Miyamoto coming on stage and showing this game, very, very well done. But since then, I've been looking back at it and thinking, hold on. You know, at first it felt like Apple going, we've got him. We've got Mario. This is it. And then you start hearing things about, actually, it's just a mobile game that's going to be available on everything. It's just that they announced it on the
I think they said,
Apple Store.
I think maybe it's timed exclusive, because me and James were saying it's, It said like
Even then,
iOS first, but yeah.
I must admit, I was surprised to hear it was coming to Android, because that's a lot more of an open system than iPhone, isn't it? I mean,
Really?
how long before it just gets ripped and put on the internet like every other Android app?
Want to make money though, don't they? And it's, they just go wherever there's the money at the moment with mobile stuff.
Yeah, but with piracy so big on Android, like, are they going to make that much money, do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll do all right. I mean, it's a fucking Mario game, innit? I mean, piracy or no, like, Android's not as dead as it used to be, because I think because Android's because its popularity has grown, it now isn't just used by lads who know how to pirate stuff. So I don't think it's half as bad as it used to be.
Right, okay, I'm going on some outdated opinions then, because obviously I'm not an Android user, but I'd heard that it was a complete wasteland because developers didn't want to develop for it because they get fucked over.
That's all right.
There's loads of stuff that comes out. It's just they don't make as much money on Android as they do on iOS, but they still make tons of money.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so what did you guys think? Mario Run, Super Mario Run.
I want to play it because, just looking at it, I'm unconvinced. I'm not unconvinced. I feel like it could go either way.
It looked really conservative to me.
It did.
As in just kind of exactly what you'd expect them to do.
Yeah, it's so safe, and maybe that's the right move. Obviously, no one wants a fully featured Mario game with fucking on-screen buttons. But it is, I don't know, maybe it's a bit because obviously Nintendo are always innovative. So to see them go, right, we're going to do a Mario phone game. How are we going to do it? We're going to do it like Rayman.
That Rayman game, yeah.
All the other half-decent one-button platformers on the platform. So it's like they've just
Mr.
they've come to the table and gone, oh no, you guys have already got this. Right, okay. We'll just do another one of those. Maybe I'm being unfair.
Isn't it? They were playing Mr. Crab, and they thought, right, this is the best platformer on iOS.
On any format.
Let's whack this idea in. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's still pretty exciting that Mario's just going to be available like this.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure this is basically going to be used as an elaborate paid-for advert for the next Mario game.
Possibly.
I'm completely convinced now that there will be a new Super Mario style game to launch the NX.
Yeah, totally.
I'm pretty sure of it, because they'll want to get this game in people's hands, remind people that Mario exists. Not that they need reminding, but sort of get that new Super Mario style thing into the mass market, and then come early next year when people have been playing this game, they'll see those same visuals, but for the NX. Oh yeah, Nintendo have got a new console. I think they're definitely trying to bridge towards that. And I'm almost willing to put an app bet on it. There'll be a new Super Mario Bros. Game to launch that system.
That's pretty safe, isn't it?
It is pretty safe. Yeah. I can't see many of you taking me up on that. But I think I wasn't thinking that before. I thought they were going to rest that series for a while. But after seeing that on iPhone, it was kind of like, yeah, that's what they're going to do next, I think. But yeah, no, it's just good to see Shigeru Miyamoto out again, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was cool. Because he's not done... I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw him on a stage. Been a while. I mean, obviously, Nintendo, like in and of themselves, haven't been on a stage for a while.
Yeah,
they just tend to do directs, but he's not even been heavily involved in any Nintendo directs for the last couple of years. Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he was a puppet, wasn't he, for a bit?
He was. Yeah.
Remember that one? He's looking really well as well. It was just good to see his face.
Is. I mean,
pathetic,
considering really, his best mate died last year, doing all right.
Yeah, and I mean, he's getting on a bit now, isn't he?
I don't know how old he is, but yeah, he must be late 50s, early 60s, I would have thought.
No spring chicken. Right, okay. Are we done with news? Did anyone else want to add anything?
Last Guardian's delayed?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah, fucking hell.
I mean, I'm not massively surprised.
Why not?
I'm still in a place where I'm not convinced it's going to fucking come out, or if it does,
Really?
it's not going to be any good. But I know it's just me being cynical. I just feel like the development's been far too troubled now. But maybe that's unfair.
It'll definitely come out. It's just that what sort of state is it going to be?
Yeah,
It'll be interesting.
I mean, it's got to come out because it's like Sony's only thing they got coming out like towards the end of the year. I can't think of another Sony game. I suppose you've got all the VR stuff, so maybe they're just focusing on that. But there's not much Sony stuff out, and they're kind of resting on that to be their big push for the end of the year. And I was surprised, actually. I was surprised because I just thought they really did come out and say, here's the release date, this is definitely coming out, blah, 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 blah. And now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, pushing it back. I mean, if they do that again, I don't know.
They can't do it again. They obviously want it out for Christmas. And to be fair,
December, about as late as it can go.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that'd be a fucking good Christmas game.
Yeah, true.
But
when's the last time
it would have been?
Game
it would have been in 2011. I just read this tweet. Somebody retweeted PlayStation Europe from 2010. It just says The Last Guardian coming to PS3 holiday 2011.
Christ!
Watch the new trailer here.
When was the last good December game, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's typically like September, October, November, but in December, this is about as late as it can get.
I've got your one for you. Last year, Rainbow Six Vegas Siege. Yeah, that little number game changer. Yeah,
Rainbow Six Vegas. I think it's just called Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh yeah, I added the Vegas in there because I'm so used. I'm so used to it. Rainbow Six Vegas Siege.
Vegas 2 6 Siege.
Thunderstorm.
Dave's like, yeah, I read all the Tom Clancy books. Rainbow Six Vegas.
Ghost Recons.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for news this week. Let's get on to what we've been playing. And I want to start with James Farley because he's got something very exciting to talk about, haven't you, James?
Yeah, this is well exciting. I mean, after a Twitter poll, it was decided that I was going to play Knack as the first game that Matt sent me. And I finished it.
I can't wait to hear what you think of this because I genuinely don't think it's that bad of a game. I mean, it's not a classic by any stretch of an imagination, but I still really enjoy playing it. So, come on, let's see what you think.
I've got some notes.
Oh, God.
Well, you see, I think overall the best word to describe it is tedious. Is probably the best way.
No,
it's the character design is awful.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Knack the actual Knack is just really unappealing. Like if you look at it, it just looks horrible.
Yeah, it looks horrible, but like when he gets all big in that, I found that well satisfying.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like he gets all big in that, and then you can, when he gets all big.
But
like, I mean, he starts off little, right, and then he picks up stuff, and then he gets all big in that,
And they do that every single level.
Yeah,
like, it starts off that's the thing about it it's just so incredibly repetitive. It's like every single like sort of new sort of level design. It's the same thing. You start off small, you get a bit bigger, you fight something big, and then you do the whole thing all over again.
Yeah, they don't shake things up. I'll give you that.
I mean, the other thing about it is, do you remember like anything about the story?
Oh yeah, I do. There was some weird shit in there.
Because it really would have been better if there wasn't one. Because what's weird about it is it's really dull and it doesn't really say anything. Like it's not. I don't really know what the point of it is.
It's a kids' game, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the whole point. If you're gonna do like a game for like all ages or whatever, then either make a really good like go of the story or don't bother. Like they don't really bother.
Oh come on, James!
It doesn't matter.
You watched enough TV, like kids' TV, to know that that's not the case. They never just like go, oh, is this a really good story, or should we just leave the story out completely? No, it's usually just absolute terrible dross coming through the TV.
Yeah, but that's kids' TV. This is like a game. And it's like, if you're going to...
No different.
Like, if you think about it, like, think about, like, Mario games or whatever, they don't have, like, brilliant story, but because the game plays really well. And, they should just done that with this. Just don't bother, because it's just awful. I mean, to be honest, the goblins had a fair point, like, attacking the humans.
Yeah, I thought that.
Because they were being horrible. And also, I mean, the Doctor, do you remember the Doctor?
Yeah, I do.
He's just an arse, like, through the whole thing. And... You're just expecting that he's going to go bad at some point or whatever. He's just horrible. He's just, Can I spoil any of the story? Is that all right?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not even going to call Spoilerbot, who I'm tempted to call Mark Cerny from now on, but I won't at this point. I won't even call him. Just, go for it.
So anyway, do you remember the thing with the girlfriend?
The girlfriend of the guy... Was that the guy with the pilot?
It's the girlfriend of the doctor. Who
she
went
died
missing.
or something.
Yeah, because they do this sort of like foreshadowing of this story of like involving this character that's like, supposedly died and gone missing. But then they keep making a big thing out of like, oh look, all these machines look a lot like the cars she used to design a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then, which is terrible. And then when you eventually like catch up with her, because obviously she's around, it turns out she's been like developing weapons for the goblins. But no one seems to think this is a problem. Like at all, it doesn't seem to matter. No one cares.
What do you mean? Isn't that just satire on how America sell their arms to what eventually become the terrorists?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay,
it's just bad storytelling. but yeah, the story. It was just I don't know. You see, I don't know. I was just really bored by it. But I mean, aside from all of that, the gameplay is just extremely repetitive. It's like really, I mean, I don't know how you got any enjoyment out of it, to be honest. I mean,
really?
It's just the same thing over and over again. And also, I mean, didn't you find like the checkpointing is really terrible as well?
On very rare occasions, the checkpointing would fuck up. It wasn't like a constant thing. It was just every now and then it would send me way back, and I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, I didn't know. It didn't bother me that much at all.
Did you finish the game?
No. I must have got... I mean, because it's really fucking long, isn't it?
No, you got less than halfway through, and I know that for a fact. Because whenever you find stuff, it props up and says, like, who else on your friends list has discovered stuff, and I left you behind after about 5 hours.
No. I have definitely played more than 5 hours of that. Like definitely. I remember following the guide and thinking, I must have been... How many missions are there in it?
13. Totally.
I must have been 9 or 10 missions in. Definitely.
Really?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
Don't think so. Anyway,
I definitely remember being that far in because I could. I wish I knew the fucking story so I could tell you where it was. But as you say, it's instantly forgettable.
Yeah, but I mean, as I said, I mean, as it gets, I mean, so the other thing about it is that it's supposed to be a game that's clearly been designed for all ages. That's kind of like the idea. This was like a launch PS4 game to try and show they do other stuff, not just shooting and stuff. But it's really hard. Did you find it difficult?
Yeah, there's some some big difficulty spikes. Yeah, definitely.
And it's like, I mean, my kids were like watching me play some of this, and then my daughter was like, "Oh, can I have a go?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." It's totally pointless. It just dies instantly. Like every few, it's just not fun. It's really just not fun at all because a lot of the times I died. In fact, most of the time, whenever I died, it felt cheap and unavoidable. Like it didn't feel like it was. It didn't feel like it was like an actual like proper challenge. It just felt cheap, which wasn't so good.
Good. That's probably more than anyone's spoken about Knack, even at launch.
I've got more. There's tons, but if you want me to,
go on, just run through your bullet points quick, just like as quick as you can.
There's no variety in the game.
Okay.
So they introduce some interesting ideas, but then do nothing with them.
Right.
The game gives you no freedom. It's just A to B constantly.
It is, yeah.
The environments are really uninspiring, really boring.
The ones in the bits in the caves were pretty good.
Yeah, but it looks all right, but it's still just the same old thing, isn't it? But also, there's that whole thing of like picking up gadgets, that you're supposed to like combine.
That's right, little hidden things.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is I think I got like one complete set through the whole time I played through it, and they don't seem to do anything. It just seems really, I don't know. If you could have bought those, like, you could have like traded something or other to like buy them, that would have been good.
Yeah, I remember that. There was just like, there was collectibles that didn't really actually do anything, were there?
But also, I mean, there was a whole bunch of like slowdown as well in places. Did you notice that?
I remember the cutscenes being absolutely appalling for slowdown at the time when I played it. I don't remember it in game.
Yeah, in game, particularly towards the end, there's quite a lot of slowdown, especially towards the end because there's lots of like as things get bigger and bigger, it gets kind of like ridiculous. I mean, it looks nice. I mean, in places it looks nice or a bit dull, but I don't know. Looking back at it, it reminded me a bit of Cameo. If it was rubbish, and Cameo is quite a good game, actually. I went back to it not so long ago, but at least they had some interesting ideas. With this, it just feels so, it just feels so boring.
Let me
It's
guess.
tedious.
Right at the end, does he get bigger than he's ever been before?
He gets pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Predictable.
Did you play it, Sean?
No.
He's waiting for PS Plus, isn't he, mate?
Yeah. I want 4K or forget it, mate.
Okay, get the fuck out.
So that's the thing. I've heard that like loads of people are waiting for it on PlayStation Plus. I don't get why. You can buy it for like about $5.
Well, it's become a bit of a meme now, right? Like it was a bit of a joke, but the idea was that it was a classic launch game, and at the time, it was one of the first games that you would expect to hit PS Plus at the time, because PS Plus was back when they were actually releasing full retail games and stuff like that, and it was just like, well, they can't release brand new full retail games that have just been released for the new console. However, Knack didn't. It sold pretty well, but it wasn't really a massive success. So everyone just assumed that would be, and because it was a Sony game, that would be the first PS Plus game. So after about a year of people going, "Oh, I'm surprised Knack hasn't made it yet," it's become a bit of an online joke now. I don't think anyone's genuinely waiting for it.
I think even if it came to PS Plus, I don't even know if I'd bother adding it to my account.
Nah, probably.
Life's too short. You know what I mean?
I did not hate it. I don't. I'm surprised that you hated it so much. To be honest with you,
I didn't like totally hate it. I just found it really boring. It's just really tedious.
Yeah. I find it hard to argue against that. Definitely.
And also, I mean, there's that whole thing about because it was Mark Cerny's thing, wasn't it? And because it ends like saying written and directed by like Mark Cerny, but I just kind of get the feeling he probably didn't have much to do with it because he was probably working on.
He was massively involved, wasn't he? I'm sure they've asked him about that. Like, how could you be working on the PS4 and this game? And I think he sort of confirmed that he was heavily involved with it, but maybe he would just like to rub his name completely from that title. I don't know. Don't cover him in glory, does it? Right. Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Good. Matt.
It's been a bit of a quiet one this week. I've managed 5 minutes of gaming.
5 minutes
from the whole week. Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Played Pac-Man 256 on iOS.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! What is this? What is this podcast? I mean, both of these games that you're talking about, Knack and this Pac-Man game, they both come out when Joypod have just finished, right?
I think I'm pretty sure Pac-Man 256 is a bit new.
Yeah, I think it's this year.
Yeah,
it's
it's
year
not
or
this
the last year.
It's last year, I think.
Okay.
Jesus.
Well, whatever. I've been incredibly busy, but next week I'll be back to playing games. But yeah, it's really, really good. I didn't really play much Pac-Man when it was on the 360. Was it Championship Edition?
Yeah,
it's really good.
Like the sequels just around the corner now.
Yeah.
And previous haven't been that great actually. But this is really, really awesome and fun. Have you guys all played it before?
Yeah,
I have. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't not played a Pac-Man game for so long. It was just really fun for the 5 minutes I managed to play it for.
Okay, Sean.
I've played. It's not a great week for any of us, this, is it?
No.
Mine is.
Not for me, Dave. Not for me.
Yeah.
I've had to go on Metroid Blast Ball, which is,
Well,
yeah. I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, no, it's not Rocket League, obviously, but yeah, it's not complete shit, is it? It's like even visually, when we all saw videos early on, we were like, "This is embarrassing. 3DS needs to get in a bin." That looks fine now. I don't know if they've changed anything or if it's just something about having it on a handheld. Yeah, it's just a weird little sort of FPS stroke football game, and you're in a robot, and for some reason there's a bit where you're not in the robot, but there doesn't appear to be any actual gameplay thing to that. It's just like the lobby, isn't it? I think. Yeah. Which is a shame because it feels like that could have been used for something, but whatever. And just it's actually pretty exciting. Like you sort of. Just, those moments of like sort of thinking you've got it absolutely nailed, and then one of the enemies manages to knock the ball back towards you, and then you're like, fuck, and you've got to rethink your positioning and really sort of, yeah, it's good. Enjoyed it. It's free, and you can play it online. I don't think there's no way to play with people you know, is there? It's just.
I think it's kind of random.
Yeah,
Good old Nintendo.
Yeah, classic.
Loving that.
But yeah, there's like all the like unlockable skins for your mech and stuff, and just I mean, I am sort of intrigued by Federation Force now, a little bit.
It's not as bad as people say it is at all.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, I'm intrigued. But yeah, that's it, mate. Other than that, it's just been more Destiny, a bit more Deus Ex, and I've nothing new to say about either. I don't think. Oh, they've patched Destiny so that it's now sort of ready for Rise of Iron next week.
So what stuff
Matt, are
are
you jumping on
right now before the DLC drops?
They've like, I don't know, the change is really weird. So the title screen's changed. Whoa.
Yeah,
it's got new music.
That. Yeah, like new colours.
Yeah, it's really nice title screen music. Like all that's really obvious now is apparently there's a new exotic sidearm that I really want, and apparently you can potentially get that through exotic engrams and stuff. One thing they seem to have done is now, like when you're doing your Vanguard strikes or whatever, there's loads of green engrams again. And I was thinking, well, that sort of makes sense because, because we're getting new content, so potentially green engrams will be worthwhile. For those who don't play Destiny, basically they're your sort of not very rare at all items. But because obviously the level cap's going to be raised and stuff, it's like, well, yeah, maybe we'll be at a point where actually you're going to be using green engrams for a bit. And using your less rare items just because they've got better stats and stuff, because the whole, the goalposts have moved and everything. But no, they're all shit. Like all the green, like you're just getting all these green items and they're all like really bad stats. And it's like, why have they put this in? Why have they changed this? I don't get it.
That's so strange, yeah. Because exactly as you said, whenever a new DLC drops, it's just everyone's just doing green engrams again, then blue, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah, and you work your way up, but like, but it's like those green ones are already shit now before the new content's actually
major changes. I know, like with previous DLCs, I would be suddenly there's like another currency to save up or another energy source to save up. Is there anything major in this?
They haven't. Oh no, they might have talked about it. If they have, I haven't seen it. As far as I'm aware, there's no new weird currency stuff. But
okay,
it would be the first time that there wasn't. So we'll see.
But what's a big thing in Rise of Iron that we should be excited for? Because I must admit, this is the first Destiny DLC that I haven't really paid attention to. But
okay, I'm
not sure if I'm going to get it. I would like to, but I'll have to see. But so what is the big thing that Rise of Iron is going to bring?
I mean, obviously, basically all the stuff you'd expect. New campaign bits, new Crucible maps. There's new raid, where a massive robot chases you across the top of a wall. That looks very exciting.
Awesome.
They've done the slightly shitty thing again. Like Taken King was like, look, there's all new enemies, but they're basically using the models of the old ones, but they've got different abilities and stuff. Which, if you play a lot of Destiny, that's a meaningful enough change. But it's weird that they would open themselves up to that criticism of being like, well, you've literally just reskinned the existing enemies. This time it's like, oh, it's the Fallen guys again, but they've got some virus and it's mutating them.
Why do they keep doing that?
I don't know, man. As like I say, it's in gameplay terms, it is enough. But yeah,
just change what they look like.
But yeah, exactly. Just fucking, I don't know how it works. Just draw some new characters, yeah. Just scan them in on the 3D machine, and fucking. So that's a bit odd, but I'm intrigued. I mean, I'm at that point where I'm just like, oh, is it more Destiny? £25, thank you. But we'll see. I mean, there's like a new social space which has all new NPCs to talk to and do shit for. There's some new artifacts you can equip that you then have to do little mission trees for to like power them up and get your extra abilities or something like that. It sounds all right. But then, I think this will be it.
Back.
Yeah, it is wicked. Like I'm still, the jokes about oh, they've given us green engrams again and it's a fucking waste of time. I'm just enjoying playing it.
Yeah, well, that's it. The gameplay is just so good in that game that I want to go back to it. I'm a little bit wary about doing that because there's a lot of games coming out, new experiences that I want to try.
Yeah, I mean, this is like I've said, conversations about Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, stuff like that, and part of me's like, yeah, but I'm just going to be playing Destiny, and that's cool from a value of money point of view, but yeah, like, is it wise to just play more Destiny in lieu of one or two other new interesting shooters that are actually very different to what I've been playing for the last, because I've been playing Destiny for 2 years now.
Yeah, like those brand new IPs, Titanfall and Battlefield.
Are brand new. There's nothing else like them.
Quite like them.
See, I'm kind of tempted to get it, to be honest. Because
have you played
Destiny,
James?
I have played it.
We played it for a bit,
One,
didn't we?
A bit, yeah. But I'm kind of tempted to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I know, God, I can't remember if it was on here on Midnight Resistance. Someone was asking how they get into it now. And, like, honestly, I'm so far in, I couldn't even tell you. Like, I don't know. If you buy the game, and it's worth pointing out that they're doing, like, a new everything edition, which is like 40-50 quid, which includes the base game and all the DLC. If you're thinking of getting involved, that is by far the cheapest way of doing it. But I've no idea what it now looks like if you start the game now with that. Do you know what I mean?
I think it still looks the same. I still think you've got the same, intro and first like mission structure and everything. But I think wasn't there a item that you get with House of Wolves or Taken King where you can level up a single player to like level 50 straight away?
Well, that took you. I think it was Taken King did it, and that took you up to level 20.
20.
But obviously that cap is now 40, and then you've got your light level to think about. So the level cap in and of itself isn't, like, it doesn't really mean a lot anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, apparently this new one does come with basically the same thing. Gets you up to level 40 straight away.
That's good.
Yeah. But it's such a strange
James,
thing, like, because by doing that, like, if you've just paid, 40, 50 quid for, the entirety of Destiny, would you not think, like, yeah, but by using that item, am I not just skipping, like, 18 months worth of content?
Or am I getting to the good stuff with Destiny and playing with my friends faster?
Yeah, but it does mean you don't have to play House of Wolves, so...
House of Wolves was alright, man. It was the Dark Below. Was it? Yeah,
Dark Below. Dark Below, so yeah.
I
couldn't answer that.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, and it just seems so strange to just be like, like if you buy this game and all your mates are like, yeah, come play Destiny with us, it's really good. Skip most of it. Use this item and skip loads of it and just join us with the new stuff. It'll be wicked.
I don't know. I think you'll still have plenty. Like the whole appeal with that game is playing with your mates, and if you've got mates that are gonna start again from scratch, then fair enough. But there ain't many people that's gonna want to do that.
Yeah.
They'll all want to continue with their high level characters.
Yeah,
so
sure.
if that gets you within playing distance of them, then all good.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like I say, just, when they sell that edition of Destiny, it's like, yeah, it's got it's got Dark Below, it's got House of Wolves, it's got Taken King, it's got It's like, but realistically, you might never touch loads of that if you're starting now. Never mind the base game itself. It's just weird.
Yeah. Well, Activision, if you're listening, send us a couple of codes with you. I can't be bothered to email you.
I've already paid up for it, mate. I'm a mug.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about you. Me and Matt, we need to get involved in it.
Yeah. Right. You get back on the old Destiny train.
Okay, so I've actually been playing a new game.
Thank God.
It's coming out Friday by the time you're listening to this. It's called Pro Evolution Soccer 2017, which is a game that I wasn't really interested in because my football hole in my life was kind of filled by Rocket League. Like, that was the game it was Neutral Times of Existence. I played the demo and was very, very impressed. I'm playing the full game now, and I'm even more so impressed. I rang up my brother. I think he's going to pop over on Friday night, and we're going to have a little bit of a session on it. And I said, "You got to play the new Pro Evo. It's amazing." And he said, "Well, what makes it amazing?" And I said, "Well, do you remember when we'd been playing FIFA year in, year out, and then this new game hit the scene, Pro Evolution Soccer, and I had a DVD on PSM2, I think it was." That showed the gameplay footage, and we watched that footage over and over again because it looked like proper football. it was such a huge step to everything we'd seen before. It blew me away. Like, it blew us both away, and we were like, this is an actual football game that's coming out. And then when we got the game, it was like, holy shit, this really is that good. That's what PES 2017 feels like to play. Like, it's just the animations, the way the players react, the way they make runs, the way they pass. They seem to have toned down on a lot of the tactical stuff that FIFA's built on year after year, like tactical defending and skill moves and stuff like that. It seems to have stepped back in a way, but benefits from it because it's a lot less complicated, but you know the rule set going in. So like with FIFA, it's kind of like tactical defending, you hang off a player, and then when you're ready, when the time's right, you jump in and then stick a foot out. But because of the way that everything's been built up, sometimes that just won't work, and a player will just skip past you and then put it in the back of the net. Whereas in PES 2017, you know exactly where to put your players to cut out passes, and there'll be times where you're sort of doing a risk reward thing. If I close this player down, chances are I can nick the ball off them, but I'm also leaving this attacking player exposed. So although it's probably not as tactical from a gameplay point of view, the rule set around what you're doing while you're playing makes it very tactical. And that, as I say, that risk reward stuff is there constantly, because this game is all about creating space, and whether you do that through formations or putting players in certain places or just pinging the ball about to create space, that's what this game's all about. It's about creating space and then attacking that space. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, some of the characters... I sent you a video of... Well, I tweeted it as well, of De Gea, didn't I, Matt?
Yeah, De Gea, and also... you sent another one, didn't you? With some other player?
Oh, no, it's just Vardy scoring.
Oh, okay.
Because the commentator...
De Gea does look amazing. Is he... because I've seen him... A few people share a picture or video of him, but... Is it just some players that look amazing and others don't? Is it like a licensing?
Yeah, as with always, there's definitely when you step down leagues or pick not as popular teams, there are like the sort of stock players that they always put in there, that's still there, and they stick out like a sore thumb because the players that you recognise look so good that the others just kind of look like a wax model of, I don't know, a really average person, but. So some look better than others, and still no games developer have ever been able to create something that actually looks like Rooney. He's like the missing link, and no one's worked out how to do it. He's like a walking uncanny valley, that bloke. And yeah, we were flicking through some of the players. Like my brother-in-law over, and we were flicking through some of the players to look how good. Oh, look how good that player looks. Look how realistic he looks. And then you just go to Rooney and just go, yeah, that looks nothing like him. But then what looks like Wayne Rooney? Apart from just a potato on the floor of Sainsbury's. The graphics are all well and good, but the game is so smooth. I don't know if it's 60 frames per second. It certainly feels like it's been bumped up. The frame rate's been bumped up from the last edition. Although saying that, I did play that on Xbox One, so that's kind of understandable. Feels so smooth, responsive. Everything works really well. There's a few minor gripes I've got with it so far, in that the referee decisions are sometimes a bit off, especially with heavy fouls. Like sometimes you can get the ball cleanly and it will still, because you've gone in hard, it will still blow up for a free kick. Or, if you followed through but you've clearly got the ball first, it's still free kicks and stuff. And then there have been times where I've absolutely wiped players out and have been given nothing. And there's also a really disappointing thing that they've changed for this year, where offsides are called immediately. So the moment the ball is kicked towards a player that's offside, the whistle goes, and then you just restart. You never see that, with offside it's really complicated. You've got several phases, there are several different rules, and 9 times out of 10, even if there's a player offside, if the defender intercepts it, you can just continue. That never happens. The moment the ball's kicked towards a player in an offside position, the whistle goes and then goes straight to free kick. And I guess that's trying to speed up the process of the game, stop the sort of bloatedness that sort of plagued FIFA over the past few years with these extended cutscenes and, dragging things out and stuff. But it just doesn't feel right. You know, it's too mechanical, that stuff.
Yeah, it's not really realistic. I mean, I think I said to you years ago, or over the past few years, I've always wanted a football game, PES or FIFA, I guess, where maybe offside goals could go in, you know, just like every single weekend, you know, in the Premier League and other football leagues. You know, every weekend there's always goals that are blatantly offside, but the referee doesn't see it. And I'm sure I've read a reasoning before whereby, you know, the FIFA don't want to put to make referees look like they're not doing a job properly and they've made mistakes, even though that is definitely a part of the English game every single weekend.
Maybe that, but they definitely...
But I'd love that. I know, like, a really early FIFA, 94, 95, 96, whatever, where you can, like, set, like, a strictness of the referee.
Yeah.
Me to that would be amazing, whereby maybe you're playing with your mate and maybe one's offside and you'd be like, oh, I can't believe you scored an offside goal, and it'd be annoying, but it would also be much more realistic and... yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, you're right.
Do
Obviously, you'd have to switch it off for online play because that stuff gets so competitive that you know, it don't really work. But yeah. I mean, taking even the smallest amount of drama away is a bit disappointing. But then, because the game plays so well, the drama's sort of built up on the pitch anyway. The back and forth and trying to beat players and trying to work out new ways to get around the defence and trying. It's just beautiful. The only thing that's holding me back from saying this is the best football game, this is the next step in football games, is the is that the online servers aren't switched on yet. And yes, it's true, and I've said it a million times, it hasn't got the game modes that FIFA's got. You know, it's not got online co-op seasons or anything like that. And the game modes that it does have are so complicated and convoluted that it's, you know, it's a bit of a pain in the arse to wrap your head around. But so long as the lag is kept down and it runs well online, I can see myself playing this a lot. It certainly seems to have dropped the ridiculous amount of messages you get when you launch up the game and all that sort of stuff. You know, hopefully they get rid of the data packs, and then, I mean, don't get rid of the data packs, just don't have 18 messages if I don't log in for a month telling me how many boots I've downloaded. I don't need that shit. So yeah, I'm really excited for this to go online, and I'm really excited for DJ Damos to release his mod pack for the PS4. You can't do it on the Xbox One, but the PS4 accepts custom files. So yeah, go to just search at DJ Damos on Twitter and go to his website and order. I think it's like 15 quid, these USB keys, but totally worth it. Like, totally worth it.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions actually about PES. Is this the first year it's got Champions League as a proper licensed trophy?
No, Champions League's been in it for a while.
Okay, but obviously they've got official teams like Barcelona and stuff. I was under the impression that they had more Champions League stuff. But is it standard like it's been in previous years? Then?
Yeah. So they have the Champions League competition. And you know, they have all the logos and all that sort of stuff when you go. In fact, that's what I've been playing the most, because I don't want to start a league, because there's a patch coming that sorts out all the transfers. That's coming on Thursday, I think. Is it tomorrow? It might be coming tomorrow. I can't remember. But there's a patch coming to sort the transfers out, and once you start a league mode, then you're stuck with the fucked up transfers, or you know, the teams from the end of last season rather than the new teams.
And have they confirmed how often they're going to be updating squads
weekly,
and team rosters?
They
and
have
stuff?
Weekly. That's. I saw an interview during E3, and they said, we apologise for how bad it was for 2016, but we are going to have weekly updates for schedules.
And are they going to have anything like FIFA seasons?
Well, they've had that for a few years as well. It's called Online Divisions. But my biggest gripe with that is that I like playing as sort of lower league teams, obviously, because I'm a Millwall fan. Like, it's all I know, boy. And it didn't adjust the matchmaking. So although I was picking Millwall a few seasons ago, I couldn't. All I was playing was Barcelona and Real Madrid. And it was kind of like, oh, fuck's sake. So I'm waiting for the servers to be switched on to see if they've put that right, and that I can pick a lower league team and get matched against another lower league team, or a team of, you know, similar skill level.
Cool. And in terms of online, what do you need it to do online that it could? I mean, it may not compete with FIFA, because FIFA has obviously such a wealth of online options. But what does it need to do to actually be enough for you to enjoy and play it every week?
It needs to run with no lag. Like, the game, that's it. That's it, really.
So it's been lag, really. That's been the issue over the years.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been a bit of lag in football games anyway, because there's a lot of data that's being passed between the two consoles. But if it runs as smoothly as it does last year's PES was really good. The problem was it didn't feel as solid as it needed to be, and cracks started to appear, and it just wasn't as fun to play. This seems to have smoothed out all the little cracks in last year's game and really fucking built upon it. Really made something that feels solid, fun to play, so quick and so good to look at that. I mean, we're gonna have to play this next time we meet up, Matt, because it is just out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, PES is always amazing local anyway. I always prefer PES local to FIFA. FIFA was great online, but I just think PES local 2-player was the best anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were several years worth, weren't there, James, where it just completely folded. I mean, the 360 years were not kind to PES at all in any way. But this really does feel like a huge step up. And I've enjoyed every game that I've played. It's been so interesting and so much fun to play that if they manage to maintain that online, then I can't see any reason to buy the next FIFA. Although, having said that, there's a new engine for FIFA and we don't know what it's like. And if you're listening to this on Wednesday when it goes up, then the new FIFA games demo is out. It came out yesterday, so I'm interested to see what that's like, because I've heard positive things about that as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm so interested to see what story mode's like in that, and the fact they got managers on touchline now is also interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Like licensed managers. There's managers on PES, obviously, but they're just little generic dudes with suits.
So speaking about amazing demos, it's not only related to FIFA, but the Forza Horizon 3 demo is actually out now, so I'm really excited to download that.
Oh, I've got to check that out. That game, the last game was so fucking good.
If anyone's anything half as good as the second one, I'm definitely buying that. I'd love that so much. And apparently Australia is an awesome location for this sort of stuff, like for the early impressions of a demo, at least.
Cool.
So, yeah, really excited for that.
Have to check it out. Right, okay, that's enough about what we've been playing this week. Let's get straight on to the listeners' questions and ting. All right?
Okay, so we got some emails.
That was really quick, James.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, I was ready.
Well done, man.
So, yeah. So if you do want to email us, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. And the first one we've got says, "Hello lads and Mirror Dads. I enjoyed the discussion last week about which developer stories would make great documentaries. For me, it would be the development of Dark Souls 2. I genuinely, properly love that game, perhaps even more so than its predecessor, but the general consensus would say that I'm mad. There's some really amazing stuff in there, especially in Scholar of the First Sin edition, yet plebeians continue to dismiss it as not being made by Miyazaki and made by the B-Team. I'd really love to see the From Software guys working on Dark Souls 2 pouring their hearts and souls into it and creating something really special. Maybe then the not Miyazakas would see that the game stands side by side with the original rather than its shadow. So here's a somewhat related question. Is there a game you absolutely love that everyone else seems to hate?" And that's from Tom Durbin.
Ooh, that's a good one, because this came up on Roll-Up not that long ago, and the only thing that I could think of... no, because I didn't, properly love it. I don't know. Every game that everyone hates, I'm trying to think. Like, for example, I didn't mind the old 1886. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I'd ever played, but then I couldn't say that I loved it either. The closest thing I can think of is Candy Crush. Because so many people hated that, and I was like, actually, this is pretty good. I'm enjoying this. That's the only answer I've got for that. Disappointing. Sorry.
So I think I think everyone knows mine, because I'm the fucking celebrity in that.
You love that shit.
Too Human, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course.
And to a lesser extent, El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. I don't think people hated that game. I think they were just a bit like, what is this? Whereas I fucking loved it.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that's played that game and said they didn't like it. I mean, you do overrate it, but it is. It wasn't a bad game. By any stretch of the imagination.
I quite like Crackdown 2, even though no one else did.
Oh, yeah.
I did not like Crackdown
But
2
I did
at
not
all.
play Crackdown 1, or I don't think, I'm not sure if I played it at all, and if I did, I barely played it. But yeah, I Crackdown 2 was okay. I got all the orbs, I finished it, I quite enjoyed it. I know no one else did, but yeah. Looking forward to the next Crackdown whenever that eventually resurfaces.
Oh shit!
day.
Of course, Shadowfall was another one, wasn't it, Matt?
Oh yeah, I
quite
don't mind
like
that. That was a solid launch title. It looked good at the time. Yeah.
People hated that game though. They hated it. Did you ever get round to playing that, Sean?
Wait, which one? Oh, you mean Shadowrun?
No,
Killzone.
Killzone.
Oh,
Shadowfall.
Killzone. Sorry, I think I meant
Shadowfall.
Shadowrun, that launch one for the 360. That was shit.
Oh, no.
Do you know, I think I did own it, but I think I was way too late for the online stuff. I think I just totally missed it.
I barely played it online. I thought the mechanic with the owl, was it called the owl?
Yeah, the owl, yeah.
That was pretty good. It worked quite well.
Yeah, it's
Right.
the final level is an absolute shit show, but apart from that,
I did the stealth one.
yeah, it was an
Jesus Christ,
it was
that drove
horrific.
me.
It suddenly mutated into something else completely different, and
That drove me absolutely
it
insane.
actually
that
felt like
level,
it was
Matt.
broken. Like the actual stealth mechanics did not work.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it was
yeah,
fucked.
it had some nice like scenery, and it had some great set pieces. And yeah, I mean, it's a classic sort of 6 or 7 out of 10 launch title, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah,
It was my favourite Killzone game, I'll tell you that.
yep, yeah, not hard, but yeah, definitely.
Sean? Not Sean. James, what's your name?
I don't know. I really can't think of anything, to be honest.
You
But-
hate everything, don't you?
Well, there is that too.
Hang on,
yeah.
your favourite Zelda's bloody Twilight Princess.
Good point.
Okay, it's not my favourite, but yeah, it is good.
With the wolf one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Awful.
you say that every time. It's like you're like the wolf one. It's like yeah.
I didn't know Skyward... Was it Skyward Sword? He flies about and shit, doesn't he?
Yeah,
That's weird, isn't it?
it
Next
is.
question.
What will he do next?
Hi all. Can Jones please talk about Knack on that Into Something podcast?
Right, okay, that's where you could have deleted that one next.
No, because I've.
Go on. No, go on. What?
No, I'm not going to read it now. You prick. Let's move on. Can we talk more about Inside
No.
yet? With Journey being out on PS Plus, I think James and Matt said they haven't played it yet. If they played it, I'll be interested in hearing their thoughts. Haven't played it yet.
You'll definitely hear their thoughts when they've played that. Sean, mate, honestly, come on. You've not had it spoiled for you either?
No?
Come on, have
I think
a word.
which is almost what makes it easier, because, you know, like if people were still talking about it, I'd be like, no, fuck, I need to get that done before it gets spoiled for me. But everyone's just sort of gone quiet, so I'm just like, I'll do it one day.
Do it today.
Well, at least do it this year, because we can't have any Game of the Year conversations otherwise without you
That's
playing
right.
that.
Okay, it will definitely happen this year. I'll commit to that.
I'm
Okay,
looking
good.
forward to that.
Yeah.
Journey, yeah, I'm really excited to play that. I'm going to play it this week. Hopefully. How long do you reckon that'll take to finish? 3, 4
mate,
hours?
yeah, if that.
No,
it's a
yeah,
very
I mean,
short
I'm
game.
already like halfway through. What I might do is finish it, and then, guys, if you want a guest on Interface, I can come on and talk about that.
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, cool.
I should go back and play. I only played it through once, and I still think it's a little bit overrated. But maybe I should play it again, and I might like it a little bit more. I don't know. I'm definitely going to download it and play it anyway.
How long is Journey?
Not very.
Literally about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Cool, so it's a one-sitter sort of game.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll
definitely
do it in
do.
one sitting.
Try and do it like one sitting. You can sound up. Just
Oh
yeah.
you've totally got. Yeah, you've totally got to do it in one sitting. There's
Okay,
a
cool.
specific reason why you've got to do it in
I
one
will,
sitting.
yeah, well, I've got time now. I've got my life back, so I will absolutely play it this week, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, James. This is.
That's your cue, James.
Yeah. If you could have a finished
Hang
copy
on,
of
it's just
any
waking
game
up,
from the
guys. Come
future,
on.
Yep.
if you could have a finished copy of any game from the future, what would it be? It has to be a game that is officially in development.
If I could have a copy, what, like right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I'd go for Shenmue 3, obviously. But
I got
Just so you
Half-Life
know.
3.
it's not in development, Matt.
It is. Dave, it is.
No, it's not.
It is!
It's not.
It is.
it's dead. Long since dead.
It's not. I'm banked up for Mafia. I keep
A
telling
what?
you this.
Any game. Capone's giving you a wish to any game, and you've chosen a game that's be out in like 4 weeks' time.
What else is there?
Oh, a fantasy game a one that's been announced but is miles away from completion.
Yeah, like
Horizon
you want
Zero
something.
Dawn.
Last Guardian.
No,
You want something
really.
potentially exciting, but like there's been like the barest whisper of it, like it's officially being worked on, but that's all we know.
Bit like Cuphead,
Nah, I can't think of one.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Is that all that Red Dead stuff was fake, wasn't it? So I can't pick that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing really that's like. Oh, of course, yeah, Mass Effect.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, that's the one.
Yeah.
That would definitely be the one that I'd choose.
I'm trying to think of
'cause
something less obvious, but I'm an idiot apparently.
So Mass Effect.
Mass
then.
Effect.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not completely excited about that game. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, the bit they showed, going back to the PlayStation meeting, looked incredible, but it's probably just a bad bit, but it made the game look boring as shit, didn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, if you watch any sort of go back and watch some Mass Effect 2 Let's Plays and stuff. There's a lot of walking about.
There is.
It's not really, that doesn't concern me because it's all about just getting wrapped up in the story and the characters and the world.
Yeah,
and
and obviously this was just like a context-free slice, and it was like, oh, you've done some jumps and you've gone to a panel and pushed some buttons and then ran away. But it was just, because it was totally out of context, it was just sort of meaningless. And I sort of came away sort of being like, well, that looked stunning, but also dull.
Is this the main team working on this, or is it like a new developer?
Main team, I think. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I know, but I think BioWare. I think they've started advertising for some stuff that implies they're also doing a new Dragon Age, but it looks like they're sort of alternating. I think so.
Yeah. Well, I'm bang up for some. Just even for the soundtrack is going to be amazing again, isn't it?
Have they confirmed anything about continuing the story? Because I started Mass Effect 1, gave up when that Mako stuff appeared, and also it's incredibly buggy when I played it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't play Mass Effect 2. Do you think I'm going to need to play the previous game to get the most out of this one?
Doesn't sound like it. I think
Apparently
it's a bit clean break.
It's a fully new thing.
Yeah, but there's going to be some sort of cameo.
Oh yeah,
there's
there'll be
definitely
nods and
going
stuff.
to be some
But in
sort
terms of
real...
continuing save files and stuff, it's fresh.
It's totally
Yeah,
fresh.
it's completely
Okay,
fresh.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a bit annoyed the extent to which they basically there was like a trailer where they mentioned Commander Shepard, don't they?
What was that?
Yeah, I can't remember. There's like a load of dialogue, and they're just like, "Yeah, you're right, Commander Shepard," and it's like, "Oh no, just fucking tie it off. It's done."
Wink at the lens.
Yeah,
So they
it's like,
confirmed
oh,
nothing
did
about
you
it's
know?
the same universe with different characters.
Yeah. Well, I think basically the premise of this one is that you are going to like an undiscovered or unexplored bit of the galaxy.
Right.
So you're like a trailblazer.
And hopefully Miranda. Still a very nice place in my heart. She holds. I romanced her right up, I did.
James, save us.
All right, tweets. If you want to tweet us, it's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter.
We have more
Phil
emails
Wall
than
has.
that. We definitely have more emails than that. Go on.
Yeah, well, I cut all the ones that you told me to, so yeah.
I didn't tell you to cut any. I just said that make your own clear choices. Anyway, go on. Let's go.
Okay, so Phil Wall says, now that he's resigned from being an MP, what game should David Cameron get stuck into while waiting for his job seeker's allowance to kick in?
Hogs of War.
Like them new Dragon Quest ones on the 3DS, mate. Got time for them now. I mean, that's always the answer, isn't it? When it's like, oh, someone's got a lot of time on their hands, what should they play? It's fucking JRPG, because adults don't get to play them anymore.
Well,
I know, I'm trying to
Destiny.
play through Dragon Quest 7 at the moment. It's,
Play Destiny. Become legend.
Yeah, mate, do it.
Alright? Become legend and ruin up the future of our children by exiting. Right.
Okay, Jamintastic says, if each of you could resurrect a now redundant chocolate bar brand, what would it be?
Oh man.
I can't even
is this
think of any.
Reason the chocolate chew?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Reasons were crap, man.
Well,
They were like a shit
that's the
Rolo,
only one
right?
that came to mind.
Oh no. Reasons were they would soft the caramel with biscuit, right?
Yeah, they're all right.
All the good ones are still about.
Yeah. Basically, yeah,
Can't
like
beat
the
them
thing
all.
with most confectionery, right, is that natural selection has taken place and it's working.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like There are no
It's
like
true.
plucky underdogs.
I think that's called natural selection box.
The only thing, there's nothing been close to, like, you know, animals evolving through millions and millions of years. Chocolate bars are like the closest that it's come to it, because now we're at a stage where they're like, yeah, just stick cookies in it. What? Yeah, just like biscuits and that. Just stick that in there. Really? Yeah, fuck it. And it's like, yeah, this is the best. Let's keep this around.
Yeah, there's nowhere else to go.
Like, you know, have you got you ever bought a bar of dairy milk recently?
Yeah.
You walk up and there's about 1 billion different types, and they all started off as, hey, special offers, but now they're just all amazing.
Yeah.
The Oreo, honestly, the Oreo dairy milk chocolate is the best thing ever.
It is good stuff.
Like, I'm not a massive fan of dairy milk, but that is the absolute nuts.
Plus, like, you know, we're at a point now where every supermarket has its own range of fancy white chocolate chip cookies, and they're all bangers.
They are good. Well, you've got to squeeze the packet first. Have you noticed that?
Go on.
You know. Oh, you're talking about the cookies,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the hard cookies. Yeah, those are pretty good. The ones that come in the cat, like, and they have like quadruple chocolate cookies, and they're about £2. Yeah, they're good, right? But you know the soft cookie ones they do.
Mhm.
Always make sure you squeeze the bag, mate, because there's nothing more disappointing than pulling out a hard one of them. Unless you're pulling out a hard one of me, because that's
Equally disappointing.
that's equally disappointing.
I've got a banging answer for this. Do you remember Fuses?
Yeah.
They were well nice.
Fuses were nice.
Okay,
weren't
Matt, are you by any chance on the Daily Mirror's website at the moment?
No, no, I'm on a different one.
they? Wow. What have you looked at? What have you Googled?
Like, chocolate bars aren't around anymore. Toffo is
Yeah.
no good one. Although, this isn't a chocolate bar, but Jolly Ranchers, can you still get them?
Oh, I've not
In
seen them for a
America?
while.
Yeah,
But then
I
they had the
remember liking them
watermelon
when I was
ones that scuppered it for me.
young. What one have you got on your link?
There's also the Trio. I've got the Trio. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Trio.
Say good
Matt,
chocolate
Matt,
bars.
you totally got
Trio.
exposed then. That's really funny.
Yeah, you fucked me over there.
Oh, have you heard of Fuse? Fuse was a brand of chocolate bar manufactured by Cadbury in the United Kingdom. The product was unusual for being 70% solid bar of milk chocolate with the remaining 30%. Or so I remember. I'm trying to remember
From
from
my
my
childhood.
youthful thoughts.
I'll tell you what we don't...
See, childhood is the right way of saying that, not youthful thoughts.
I'll tell you what we don't get here anymore, but I believe America still has them. Pretzel flips, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Oh yeah, no, those were they were all the rage, like, but they come in the blue bags, right?
Yeah.
They were covered in
Can we
chocolate.
move on? This is boring.
Yeah, you're totally right. This is awful. Sorry. Go on.
I just
No,
realised.
he's right. He's right, because there's that whole thing with, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Ian Lee, but he absolutely hates the like nostalgia about chocolate bars,
Yeah.
and the reason why is because you turn on any local radio station that get no callers, and that's what they go with. Oh, what was your favourite sweets growing up? What was your favourite sweets?
Yeah, I'm always ringing up saying
It's cool.
Fuse.
Just slamming the phone down.
Goodbye.
Next caller.
Darth Gamer says, should I get Titanfall 2 on Xbone or PS4 and why?
Depends where your mates are playing it.
That's it.
That's the only
Yeah,
answer.
that's
Next
it.
question.
I gather
If
there
you've got
are
some-
some minor technical differences, but
Yeah, if you've got no mates, get it on PS4. But if you've got mates and they're playing on Xbox One, get it on that. That's what we're having to do, isn't it, Matt?
Sadly, yes.
Mason says, now that streaming video can't show HDR, VR or 4K, will we see a brief renaissance in written games coverage?
nah.
It's not connected.
People would still rather see an unfaithful video rather than a written piece, I think.
They'd rather see a guy in a t-shirt screaming down a microphone about stuff. That's what they'd rather see than read.
Rather see a teenager eating a chili and going, ooh.
I thought that video today.
They'd rather see men on a treadmill with Lego poured into it, and then they're going to copy and paste it,
I'd
put it
rather
on your Facebook wall.
rather see a
And you're going
man
to get up in the morning and see it again.
rather see a man wee into a thing like a cup and then drink it and then be sick in the cup and then drink the sick.
Can you send me that one?
Yeah,
I'll see
I've
that.
not seen it.
Just Googling.
16-Bit Smith says, if you could pick any one developer to make the inevitable NX launch title next F-Zero game, what would it be? Or who would it be, rather?
Sumo?
I was going to say, Sumo, man. I mean, I really enjoyed Sonic, whatever it was, Sonic Kart 2. And there's a couple of tracks in that. Was it the Sonic sort of casino level on that, which properly feels like an F-Zero game? It's really good. What's Sumo up to these days? Because I know they did Little Big Planet 3 for some reason. And then beyond that, I've no idea what they've been up to.
I think they've all been taken down an alley and shot in the air if they were behind Little Big Planet 3.
I heard it was on a recent game, the one that's out, but it hasn't really been publicised as a Sumo game, but I have no idea what
That's the thing, isn't it? Because Little Big Planet 3, they never made a big deal about it being Sumo. It seems odd that a game like that, that Media Molecule would be happy to let someone else handle it, but then I guess, actually, it's never really solved that well, so... And they're saying, oh, you're going to take it off us? Okay. Right.
The correct answer is 22 cans.
Yes.
Next question. Oh, we're done. Wow, we've finished in a decent time this week. Yeah.
So, it's still 25 to midnight, and I've got to do the dishes before I go to bed.
That's a good point. Listeners, you got 15 minutes. Just do free time now. You could do what you want. Okay? But first, let's hear Matt read out some fucking social media bollocks. Over to you, Matthew.
The show's on iTunes. Leave us a review if you want.
Yep.
5
Please.
stars. We're also on Twitter. You can tweet at Computer Game Pod. We also get a lot of abuse in the week, but feel free to join the abuse on Twitter.
Yeah.
We're also on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. New episodes go up on YouTube every week. And you can email us at thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
Also already done that. Oh.
£40, sponsor the show, get involved. Alright? We'll say anything. Just write it down at 40 quid.
And don't come to us with 2 for 60. No.
I was tempted.
Yes.
Because
I thought that was a go.
at least we would have got 30 quid for this one. But you're right. We're not bargaining with it. We don't bargain with terrorists. We don't bargain with those
we
guys.
can do 2 for 80, but that's about it.
That's it.
Yeah.
40 quid. Get in touch. My name's David Turner. Your name is Matt Murray. Your name is Sean Bell. His name is James Farley. Thanks for fucking living it. We'll see you next week. All right.
Sumo Digital are working on Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
And Dead Island 2.
Get it released.
Bye.
Bye.